Veterans Alliance. And for those that do not know, National Veterans Alliance, we are a relocation company for veterans, active military, and first responders. And those that are looking for a home, they're looking to relocate, they're looking to sell their home. And we're located in all 50 states, so it doesn't matter where our veteran is living, wherever they move to, we're able to help. And we have a whole group of professionals, and we're going to go ahead and give back because we are so proud to be able to give back to you. You all have served us, and now it's our turn to go ahead and serve you. And today, as you know, we have special guests on our show, and I always try and get a veteran. I love to hear what their perspective of being in the military, what they went through, the pros, the cons. And today, I have veteran Elizabeth Petrell, and she goes by Liz. And welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Liz is an RN actually at Lawnwood
Yes.
Hospital. Is it the emergency or is it
Emergency
the
room.
emergency room?
Yes.
So needless to say, she stays extremely busy at that hospital. It's a popular place. And so Liz, tell us a little bit about you. You joined the Army, and what promoted you to join the Army?
Well, I was young when I joined. I was 19 and I had graduated high school down here. And then I moved back up to New Hampshire to, my mom had moved up there. So I moved up there and I really didn't have anything going on. I was just kind of working some odd jobs here and there. I didn't go to college right after high school. And I had a friend that was joining and she's made it sound so great. And we were like,
Girls
oh, we're
Club,
gonna,
let's join the Army.
She's like, oh, let's join together. And so I went and talked to a recruiter. And, of course, recruiters are essentially salesmen.
Yes, they are. And some of
And
them
women.
do it very well.
And so I was like, you know what, this sounds good. Let me give this a try. It was very spontaneous, honestly. So
And how many years did you put in?
almost 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we were talking before the show, and you stated that you were over in Germany. And how
Yes.
long were you there for?
3 years.
For 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And what type of training did you receive in the Army? So what was your position? What was the tasks that you had to do?
So first I did basic training, obviously, in Fort
Right.
Jackson, South Carolina. And then my AIT was also in Fort Jackson, and that's where I learned my my MOS, which is basically like your trade,
Okay.
which is unit supply specialist and unit armor. So basically, as a unit supply specialist, we were responsible for all, the inventory and the equipment of the unit and dispensing supplies out to, we had our supply room, and when people needed supplies, they came in and got supplies. We would transfer equipment to other units that needed equipment, or we would go get equipment from other units that, that we needed.
Right.
So we would be on the road a lot, going to different units throughout different places in Germany.
Okay.
And I was also, one of my side tasks was the unit armor.
Okay.
So I was also responsible for the arms room and all the weapons in the
Oh,
unit
wow.
and the care and maintenance of these weapons and making
Okay.
sure they were returned clean and,
Oh, wow.
make sure they stayed functioning. So that was a little challenging because
Was
I
it?
don't find myself to be very mechanically inclined, but and some of those weapons were very complicated, to
But you learned, right?
I learned,
You
yeah,
learned and you
yeah,
did it.
yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah,
we all
I
start
did,
somewhere,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
And that is
Yeah,
great.
it was,
So what, it's the difference between the men and the women in the military. What were the differences that you experienced or you found?
well, being a woman in the military was definitely challenging at that time. I don't know how it is now, but I don't know how much things have changed. But
What was the challenges? What was the differences?
well, definitely some, definitely different treatment, and also like just being over in another country.
Yeah.
There was a very limited amount of women in my unit. I
Okay.
want to say there was 5 women in my entire unit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
And how many in the unit?
Oh gosh, it's been a long time. I don't remember, but I want to say like maybe 80 people, 80 to
Really?
100
Oh,
people.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, so we were definitely in the minority.
I would say so.
Yeah. And so it definitely, it did pose its special challenges being taken seriously
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. You know, when I went to AIT, actually, or no, I went to PLDC, so I went to Primary Leadership Development School in Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And we had to basically train to become NCOs, which
Mm-hmm.
was non-commissioned officers.
Right.
So you're training to be sergeant
Right.
from enlisted.
Right.
And we were doing like a training exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And this one soldier, this male soldier, was like, "Oh, I would definitely go to war with you. I mean, you're good, for a woman, that kind of thing." And I was like, "Okay,"
Yeah.
And I remembered that it just kind of stuck with me because I was like, it was sort of a backhanded compliment, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
So,
between that compliment and
yeah.
a little facetiousness, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Wow. So, getting out of the service, um, what was your challenge um, because of what you were trained to do in the service? Now you're out. So, what was the challenges finding a job because you
Well,
were in that particular area in the armory?
so my challenges were probably a little even more unique in the sense
Mhm.
that I was actually pregnant when I ETS'd out of the military. So I was due to get
Okay.
out of the military.
Okay.
But I was also pregnant at the time.
Okay.
So I think, for how long was I? I'm trying to remember. Um, I was like 6 months pregnant
Okay.
when I got out.
Okay.
So, I got out, I went on unemployment, but I was lucky in the sense that I moved in with my mom,
Mhm.
and she did medical transcription, but she did it from home.
Okay.
So she taught me, you know,
Oh, okay.
basically I learned on the job training from my
from your
mom,
mother.
because I was like,
Mhm.
well, what am I going to do? I
Yeah,
had no
right.
idea what I was going to do.
Right.
I didn't feel like the skills that I learned in the military were going to serve me
Right.
out in,
Oh, yeah, I can
yeah.
see that. I can see
So,
that.
so she would, it's funny, she actually typed for Lawnwood Hospital. So
Oh,
it's
really?
really fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so I typed for them years before I started
Oh,
working
okay.
there.
Oh, wow.
But she would just be like, okay, just sit down and phonetically type what you hear. And that's how I learned. So
Oh,
I,
wow.
yeah, and then I became a medical transcriptionist. So that's,
Really?
yep. That was my,
That's good, though. I
yeah.
mean, you were able to pretty much transition ease, let me- with less challenges than
Yes.
most.
Absolutely.
I have to
but-
say that with most because they really have a hard time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I was able to I was able to transition with a support system
Very
without
good.
the assistance of the military.
Right.
Because, they help you like, oh, we'll help you write a resume and stuff like that. But there was really um, no transition
Mm-hmm.
program that I was aware of at that time
Right.
to help me find a job in,
Right.
civilian society
Yeah.
as a veteran. So.
Well, I think the key word that she just stated is support. And support is so important. And, thank God that you had your mom to have that support and also to train you too in a
I
field.
was very lucky. Yes.
So that
I was very lucky.
that is excellent. What advice do you have for women today getting in the military? Because the sad part is, when Liz was in the military, it was 91 to 96.
Yes.
Much different than what it is happening today. And I meant to bring the book in, and I will on my next show, but Pete Hegseth went ahead and wrote this book, The War on Warriors. That is a must read. That is a book that you're going to really sink your teeth into, and you're not going to be able to put down, because the military today compared to like when Liz was in just a short period of time back in the 90s, completely different. And what advice would you give women today, young girls thinking about joining the service?
Oh boy.
Put her on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a loaded question. So one of the things that I personally dealt with, and it's not something I really have ever talked about, never mind
Okay.
publicly,
Okay.
is I dealt with a lot of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
And you don't want to say anything because you're afraid. You're afraid of the repercussions. You're afraid of getting treated differently. You're afraid of it backfiring in your face. And I saw other women that dealt with some things, and they came forward and said something, and it did, you could see where it was turned around on them.
Well, they had challenges. I mean,
Yeah, she's
unnecessary
this, she's
challenges.
that,
Yeah.
so I'd say for a woman going into the military, if something like that is happening, don't stay quiet about it.
Yeah.
Say something. And just come forward. And it's hard, but you have to be strong, and don't stop until you get somebody to address the issue, and either get placed in a different unit or have that person dealt with accordingly.
Yeah.
Because it was, especially, like I said, I was 19 years old. I was in another country. I was right out of high school, essentially. So I really didn't know, so I just kind of dealt with those things. I was like, oh, I just blew it off, or, just stayed silent about it. So don't stay silent,
No, I agree with that. I think it's something, if somebody's going through that, doesn't have to be female. It can be male. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of vicious females out there too.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. It
It's
could go
not
both
just
ways.
male. It's sad, and sadly, we live in a world that is, at this point, so full of hate and bullying and just so negative, and that has to stop. It has to turn around, and it's just not even the military. I'm talking about just in
general.
in the industry.
Yeah.
Just in corporations. People that are self-employed. It's just people in general are so different today.
Yeah. And also
It's
just,
changed.
Don't let anybody make you feel like you're less because you're a woman, or that you're less capable or less able, or, just, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And, stay strong in your conviction of your own abilities,
Exactly. It's I love when I see like the female pilot that's now with part of the Blue Angels.
Yeah.
I get so excited about that because I'm sure she went through the mill on that one. I was just watching Discovery the other day, and they had a military woman, and she was up in space, and they actually, I thought this was the coolest thing. They actually had the lines open so high school students could ask her questions. And her answers were just phenomenal. They were, stay true to yourself and study, and don't worry about what anyone else is thinking.
Yeah.
And build that confidence in yourself. And it was everything she said are the steps that she followed, and look where she is today.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there was like, oh, that is so good.
Follow your dreams, believe in yourself. Absolutely.
And we need more of that. We need more people for the supporting of anybody, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
And you can't worry about what other people are thinking. But it's too bad in the military, because you know what? Honestly, it's teamwork. You're all basically family. You're brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
So
yes. and there was a lot of good experiences too.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
sure,
Like
sure.
I, there's so many good things that have come out of it for me. I've gotten my education with my GI
Yeah.
Bill.
Hmm.
And I'm also in, I mean, I'm actually, that's where I got my RN. I did accelerated
Oh, did you?
BSN,
Great.
and I got it through vocational rehab
Hmm.
through the military. And
Hmm.
now I'm pursuing my nurse practitioner also. So
I
I'm
think
still
that's
in
great.
school.
I think
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
So, so there's a lot of great, you know, and I didn't even know that I wanted to travel until I actually got out of this country and
Hmm.
saw somewhere else. And I was like, oh my God, there's
It's
a whole world
there's a whole
outside.
world out there.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. And I also met some great people, and I
Okay.
realized that there was things that I just had no idea that I was capable of.
Right.
And actually, I just wrote an essay about this the other day. But you know, going through basic training and graduating basic training and walking across that field and, you know, saluting the company
Hmm.
commander and like my family watching, like it was one of the proudest moments of my life because
Sure.
I did,
I'm very proud for your parents as well.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
It was like, I can't believe that I went through all that and did that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, you know, rappelled down a 60-foot wall and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
You
just,
did things that you never thought that you could
yeah,
do or
through a
even
live hand grenade,
imagine that
like,
you
you
were.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
so there was a lot of good that came out of it too,
Yeah.
you know. So,
No, that is great. Well, thank you so much for being on our show and giving
thank
us
you for
information. We
having
definitely want
me.
to ask you back in that. And again, National Veterans Alliance, we're here. We want to go ahead and give back. Um, we have, we're actually, I partnered up with Karen Vaughn, who's a Gold Star mom, and she's with Fairway Mortgage. And she really helps our veterans, with the VA loans. Um, their VA benefits, that's not given to the veterans. And I really want to make that clear. They earned it. So they have every right to use that. And I started the National Veterans Alliance because I was really aggravated with so many real estate agents that would really try and push the seller not to accept an offer from a veteran because he was going to use the VA funding. The VA funding goes very quickly, it's streamlined, it's not back in the day. So for those real estate agents that are doing that, look, we're not back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, okay? They are very easy, streamlined to get through. Karen Vaughn, unbelievable what she can do for our veterans. Close loans very quickly. And I have another announcement. We have a new office. We're at 1940 Southwest Fountain View Boulevard. You can see us right off of I-95 off the St. Lucie West exit. We're on the other side of Carrabba's. So we're very pleased that we're able to open up. We just opened up this past week. Couple of quick announcements. DDS for Vets, the nonprofit that we have. Our gala is coming up October 5th. Tickets are now selling pretty quickly right now, and tables are going pretty quickly. So we have Ray Cash Care, who rescued Captain Phillips. He's our keynote speaker. We have Bill Brown, Navy SEAL veteran, amazing, amazing story. And we have Fred Lewis, Army Green Beret, sniper. He's going to be at the gala. And we have Carissa Cameron, a former Miss America, who will be singing the national anthem. This is going to be an incredible 3-day weekend. On Friday the 4th from 10 to 12, having an event for our veterans. We have a lot of Navy SEAL guys coming in. It's really in Special Forces coming in. So we're having an event from 10 to 12 at Navy SEAL Museum on Friday the 4th. Friday night is VIP um, event. That is by invitation only. That's with all the dignitaries coming in, and we have our Navy SEAL guys. So that's going to be a great event Friday night. And I want to have a huge, huge thank you to Rob Gluckman, who is sponsoring our VIP private event that evening. Saturday morning, October 5th, anybody who wants to go ahead and see what it's like to work out and do a little boot camp training with the Navy SEALs, that will be right out there on the ocean behind Hutchinson Shores Resort and Spa. That's where the event's going to be. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then Saturday night, of course, is our formal gala, and Sunday morning's coffee with the General, where we'll have General Boldak. He will be back joining us, and everybody just absolutely loves General Boldak. So thank you very much for joining us. We hope that you have a great week, and we'll see you soon.